begin the process of pipetting, the pipette must be rinsed clean of any previously used chemicals. To perform this process, the pipette must be filled with water and tilted back and forth as shown, before being emptied. This process should be repeated 3 times. Next, the pipette must be coated with the test chemical in order to ensure the most accurate results. In order to do this, an amount of the solution should be taken into the pipette, and the pipette should be tilted in order to coat the entirety. This should be repeated 3 times as before. In order to pipette for measurement, the solution should be drawn into the pipette, but not the bulb, and the initial amount read. It should be noted that with pipetting, the numbers read backwards. Then, an amount should be emptied into the beaker, and a second reading taken. To get the volume of the solution transferred, subtract the final from the initial. In order to read the numbers in a pipette, one must read where the bottom of the meniscus aligns with the measurements. The meniscus describes the curvature of the top of the liquid in a glass, caused by the adhesion of water molecules to the surface of the glass rather than to each other. example, the meniscus can be easily read as the bottom aligns with the mark at about 1.68. Next, dilutions must be prepared. First, an amount of the stock solution must be poured into a smaller container for pipetting. The stock solution is a concentrated solution that will be diluted into lower amounts for use. Again, as before, all glassware is rinsed with water to empty all chemicals that were previously used. Then they are rinsed with the stock solution. Here, a dilution is prepared by a small amount of stock solution being transferred via the pipette into a volumetric flask. Flask is then filled the remainder with water, and the solutions are carefully swirled together to mix. calculate a dilution, one must use the equation that the initial concentration multiplied by the initial volume is equal to the final concentration multiplied by the final volume.